Hello dear students, a very good evening to all of you. Hope all of you are doing very great. By now you are well prepared for the Neet-UG 2024 exam. NTA has already displayed the city information. The admit is going to come very soon. So you might be very excited for the exam day to come, right? However, my dear friends, even if you are very well prepared for the exam, unless you have an optimized exam writing strategy, it will be very difficult to perform up to the level of your best ability. In that case, you might have to lose your dream college. So you must follow a very good exam strategy. On behalf of TeenEinstein Academy, I have come up with an optimized exam writing strategy, which I am going to discuss next few minutes. So friends, be with me. I know you might have already fixed your optimized exam strategy after writing so many test exams. In that case, I will honestly request you to stick to your own exam writing strategy. However, if you see some good suggestions or good points which may help you to enrich your exam writing strategy from my discussions, please take those points along. Before I discuss the exam writing strategy, let me remind you about some important facts of the exam. You know, in the exam paper there will be 200 questions and you will be given 200 minutes. Among 200 questions, there will be 100 questions from biology, 50 questions from chemistry, and another 50 will be from physics. Out of 200 questions, you have to answer only 180 questions, and the total paper will be of 720 marks. Now you have left with very few days before the exam. So to perform well in the exam, during these days, you must follow some do's and don'ts. Among the do's, you should have a very healthy routine for the sleep, unless you may fall sick or you may lose your memory if you don't sleep properly during this time. Take healthy food to keep your body healthy. Without a healthy body, you may not be able to perform well in the exam hall. Regarding studies during this time, you should glance through a whole syllabus of biology and chemistry from the NCERT textbook without taking too much stress. Regarding physics, you might have come across so many formulas. I am sure that you have made one-page formula sheets for each chapter. Try to glance through those and remember the formulas. In case you have some typical concept to see, glance through those which you might have always some doubt, and better if you can glance through the chapter summaries from the NCERT textbook and try to remember all the informations you have so far gathered. But I will suggest you strongly not to learn anything new during this time, because that will increase your burden in the brain and you cannot retain those informations unless you revise them. So this is about the study. Apart from that, as soon as the admits are available in the NT site, download the admit card, get it printed, and keep all other documents to be ready during this time. You can keep your dress code also ready during this time. After getting the admit, you can try to get some information about the exam center regarding communication, etc. If possible, if it is not very far, you may visit once just to grow confidence. Now what you should not do is to lose your focus in any way. So better to avoid any kind of party like marriage party and other things, because that will drag your attention away from the subjects. During this time, you should avoid discussing too many things with your friends, like what they have prepared, what you have not prepared, etc. That will just increase your pressure and tension, that's all. And too many new learning also will not be very much beneficial. As I said, without revision you may not be able to retain in your brain. Another thing is that you should not read whole night during this time. You should give proper rest to your brain so that the informations you have gathered so far will be retained in your brain and you can recall during the exam. The most important point is that you should go to bed early and you must get some 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep at the night before the exam day. This will make your brain very fresh and it will help you to think critically if there are very thoughtful questions, and also it will help you to recall your informations from the brain, from the memory. Okay, now on the exam day, what you should do? There will be some tensions always being a student. Even for us also it was there, but you should take it easy. Take bath in the morning, take light meal, and do not forget to take the necessary documents like admit card, I-card and other things before leaving for the exam center, and reach the exam center well before the gate closing time. This is very, very important. Otherwise you will be so much confused. After reaching the center, do not stand in the sunlight. Sunlight during this summer season, it may drain your energy level. Drink plenty of water, fresh fruit juice, that will keep your energy high. You can carry a single page formula sheet if you like, but do not see too many things during this morning before the exam, otherwise that will make your brain tired and you may not be able to think during the exam properly. So better to be calm and quiet and keep the positive mindset always. That will solve your 50% of the problems. If you keep the positive mindset that you are going to crack, you are going to solve whatever questions, like how much ever tough questions or typical questions may come. So that positive mindset is very, very important to score well, to do well in the exam. Now after entering the exam hall, you should take the allotted seat and try to be within yourself without much scattering of your mind. Do not discuss too many things. In case you require, you do not discuss anything with anyone in the exam hall. Keep your confidence very, very high and try to be very, very calm and quiet so that your mind will be focused. To keep your focus full, you can meditate or pray God so that by His grace you may apply your right knowledge at the right time. Now after getting the paper, what you should do? You should not panic. First of all, do not panic. You have practiced well, you have given many test exams, so why to worry? Just take a deep breath and start filling your details in the OMR sheet, like name, roll number, signature, etc. And in the OMR sheet there will be some boxes to write your name and roll number above the bubbles where you have to fill, right? So in those boxes you should write without any mistake your roll number, your name and signature you have to do, okay, without any mistake. And while filling the bubbles, you should be very, very careful so that you do the fill without any mistake. However, by chance if you do any mistake, do not get panic then, because paper is not going to be rejected as these details will be checked manually. So what I'm saying is that if you somehow fill wrongly the bubbles after writing your information like name and roll number, basically the roll number you have to fill out over there. So if you by mistake do something wrong over there, you should not get panicked, because your paper will not be rejected by that, as these information, roll number, name, signature, this will be verified manually. Okay, so be calm and quiet. Thereafter you have to scan the whole paper, question paper, to check whether all the pages are available, whether rough sheets are attached to your paper or not. If the question paper is somehow faulty, you have to inform the invigilator. After filling your details, within 15 minutes start answering the question paper. Okay, now while answering the question, selection of questions is another important fact. You know, in each subject there will be section A and section B. All the questions you have to answer for section A, and in section B you have to answer 10 questions out of 15. And in the question paper there could be 3 types of questions. What are those? First type may be short, easy to solve, and you have practiced this type of questions during your preparation many times. Second type of questions, these questions may be familiar, easy to solve, but these are lengthy. You have to do little bit more calculations. And third type of questions which may not be familiar, but you have conceptual understanding. If you get time, you can try to solve. So I would suggest you to follow the approaches of 2 rounds while answering the questions in each subject. In the first round, you should answer those questions which are short, less calculative, very familiar to you, and do those as soon as possible, as fast as possible, without doing any mistake, so that you at least secure some obvious marks. In the second round, you take those questions which are familiar and lengthy questions, but you can solve them properly. And the third type of questions will be actually very less in the paper. See, some 80 to 90% will be these 2 type of questions, and some 10 to 20% will be the third type of questions in the NEET exam. Okay, if everything goes according to our assumptions, but obviously this varies according to your preparations as well. And the questions which are totally unknown to you, I will suggest you to skip, because if you try again and again, you will lose time. You will lose time as well as marks also for the other questions. Now if you want to revisit some questions, take the third rounds. Okay, if time permits, come in the third round and then solve them. I would suggest you to solve 2 types of questions as soon as possible. Fill the OMR sheet and read all the questions given in the paper. If some questions are really unknown to you, cross them like this, which you do not want to see at all again, and encircle some questions if you want to revisit them. And after second rounds, you fill the OMR sheets and then you go for the third rounds and try if time permits you. But you should not waste time if you do not know any question. Right away you should skip and go for the next question. That will help you to score better, because this is competitive exam, there will be negative marking as well. Now paper attempting sequence or approach is also very important to score better. So my suggestions will be to start with your strongest subject, and I believe biology must be the strongest subject for you, because you have chosen the medical line. By default you will know better biology than other subjects. So you must solve the biology paper, all botany, zoology, etc. within 40 to 50 minutes along with OMR filling. During solving the biology paper, you should try to solve 3 to 4 questions per minute, and your mood must be very aggressive. At the same time, you have to balance the accuracy and speed as well, and strictly follow this instruction that skip the question which is taking more than 20 seconds. Here you should not recall or rethink too much, which will just waste your time. But I'll suggest you to read all the questions before you go for the second subject. Now in the second subject, some people may go for physics, some people may go for chemistry according to their convenience. Like some people may be very much strong in physics and some are very much strong in chemistry. But my suggestions will be to go with the chemistry paper, because the inorganic and organic part will be containing hardly any numerical problems, so most of them will be informative. Try to finish off this inorganic and organic part within 25 to 30 minutes along with OMR filling. And let me tell you, the physical part you can do with physics, because there will be numerical questions, analytical questions as well. So typically in physical part there will be 15 questions, so you have to answer organic and inorganic chemistry some 30 questions. Okay, so this time is enough if you go with 2 or 3 questions per minute. Now at last you take the physical chemistry and physics part. See, you have already passed 50 minutes and 30 minutes, so total 80 minutes you have already passed, so you are left with 2 hours. Okay, 120 minutes. So here you have to answer some 45 plus 15, right? So some 60 questions. Okay, so basically you will have 105 minutes, because 15 minutes for filling your details. So take 80 to 90 minutes along with filling the OMR to solve these 2 papers. In case of physics, you will have numerical as well as analytical information questions, same in case of physical chemistry also. So the numerical questions, you should be able to solve at least 2 numerical questions in 3 minutes. That means 1.5 minutes per numerical questions. That will be actually optimal. Okay, so if you are able to do this in 90 minutes, so you have, see, some more minutes remaining over here, right? Some 15-20 minutes you will be having. Okay, so during this time you can go for third rounds. Okay, third rounds where you have encircled the questions and want to revisit. So 15-20 minutes you can actually save for revision. Okay, now I can give you some subject specific suggestions, like while solving biology, organic and inorganic chemistry, you should follow do or leave policy. You should not revisit during the first round or even the second round. Whatever comes first, do as soon as possible and go ahead. Do not think too much, otherwise it will take unusual time and it will be wastage of time. Try to read all the questions. In case of physics, you should be very careful in reading the question itself, otherwise you will not be able to understand. You should be very attentive also while reading. Better to point your pen or index finger while reading the question. You should not go very fast, or you should not hop, and you should note down the informations given. You should do a very neat and clean calculation in the rough sheet, so that you can go back and see. And in the rough sheet you may do some kind of box like this and give the question number properly, suppose question 5 and question 6, etc., and do the rough work over here very neatly, so that you can come back and see if you have some doubts later. Okay, while answering the section B, the first 10 questions you attempt will be considered for evaluation. So be careful. You should choose the short and easy questions, like graphical questions and short numerical, and questions which you are very familiar. Thereafter you choose the tough questions or lengthy questions. So this strategy may help you to score better. Now, even if you are very good in solving problems, etc., but sometimes few silly mistakes brings you down, and for that you may not be able to score better. So to avoid the silly mistakes, what you should do, you should make a list of the mistakes, make a list of silly mistakes you generally do during the test exams, and glance through those before the exam day. And see, there are few points I'll mention over here which are the point of silly mistakes. Like in the question, sometime you might be given to calculate the change in quantity, but you are writing the absolute quantity. Sometime angle will be given with horizontal, sometime it will be given with the vertical. So wherever there is angle in the question, you should be careful and checking whether it is given with respect to vertical or horizontal. Sometime in the question you will be asked to find out the incorrect option rather than asking the correct option. So in that case you should not answer the correct options. Okay, you should be very careful while reading the questions. And the most common silly mistakes everyone does is the units. So you should be considering the proper unit during solving the problem, and sometime you may have to change the units as well. So some tips to avoid the silly mistakes: just write down the informations or underline the informations, do neat rough work, read all the options given in the question before finalizing your answer, underline the important part of the questions, and as I said earlier, you may point your finger while reading. After answering or after solving the questions, you must give some dot marks or some indicating mark to the correct option. This will help you to fill the OMR sheet correctly, and always cross check the answer you have got before filling the OMR sheet. Now, how to fill the OMR sheet and what are the precautions you should take before filling the OMR sheets. So there may be many ways to fill the OMR sheet, but the best way to fill the OMR sheet is section wise for first two subjects. Suppose you are answering biology and chemistry first. So for these two, first solve the questions of section A and fill the OMR sheets, and then solve the section B, fill the OMR sheet for this section. For the chemistry also like that you have to do, but for the third subject or the last subject you are attempting, you must fill the OMR sheet either question by question or after solving every 5 questions. Otherwise you may come across short of time and fill wrongly. And before filling the OMR sheet, you should give a tiny dot like this. So suppose in the question number 1 I have got the option 1, so let me give dot like this. It's just tiny dot, and then just go to the question paper and see whether you have chosen the correct options here or not. Okay, once you are assured, then you fill this, and while filling, see, you must draw the boundary first, okay, and fill it from outside to inside, okay, like this or like this, so that you don't cross the boundary. But however, if you cross the boundary little bit, not wrong answer. See, if it goes up to here, fine. But if it overlaps with this other option, then there is a problem. Okay? And while filling, you should always utter, like see, question number 3, option number 4. So you just utter question 3, 4, option 4, question 3, option 4, question 4, option 3. Like that you should utter while filling the OMR sheet. Okay? And the caution is that you should not fill the OMR sheet at the end. See, all 180 questions you have to fill at the end. It is really very, very risky. You know, sometimes you may take longer time than your allotted time for the questions to answer. And in that case, even if you answer good number of questions, if you are not able to fill it properly, then you are losing marks. And one more point is that while filling section wise, then you should not miss the section, like you should not mistake the sequence. Suppose I am telling question number 1, option 2. So instead of marking here, I just mark question number 1 and the option 2. But this option 2 may be, like question number 2 may have your correct option here. So if you jump the sequence, then also your whole answer sheet or OMR sheet will be wrongly filled. Be careful in that case also. So while filling section wise, you be very, very careful which number to which number you are filling, and corresponding to each question you have to give a dot and then cross check and then fill the OMR sheet. In that way you will be out of risk. So with this I will end my discussions over here. I hope there are few points at least which will help you to score better. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the best for your exam. Do well and achieve your goal. Thank you.